the processing was, I hated processing. I hated extraction because everything was so slow. It's in MicroStation, and we're a MicroStation organization. But the TopoDOT just made things, just little things, easier. I'm Brian Flippin.
Yeah.
And that was with a North Carolina accent. So.
Oh, say it again.
Brian Flippin.
Brian Flippin.
Yeah. That's it. That's it.
I like it. It's good.
Yeah.
And where do you work?
I work at North Carolina Department of Transportation. I've been there for almost 20 years.
So what is your role then at DOT?
My title is Terrestrial LiDAR Surveys Engineer. So my group is in charge of all of the terrestrial LiDAR surveys for DOT for the entire state.
Right.
All those contracts come through us. We have in-house terrestrial static scanning capabilities, and we used to do a lot of our own in-house surveys with the static scanner, but we contract most of that out now. So we're just like contract administrators, project managers now in my group.
Is that just from efficiency point of view for the DOT, or you get the experts? Or?
Well, there's a lot of things going on there. A few years ago, we had a mandate from the legislature that said in the pre-construction and technical services part of DOT, we needed to outsource a minimum of 70% of our total expenditures. So at that point, our focus turned more on consultant utilization than in-house forces to do the surveys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was kind of a mandate.
Yeah,
we've always used consultants, but we've really, in the past, we've done the bulk of the surveys in-house with in-house forces. We've downsized DOT, and so it's a big process of downsizing to get that right combination. We've got a big project. Our TIP, our Transportation Improvement Program, 6 or 7 years, we've got a lot of projects going on, and physically we can't do all the work in-house, so we're bringing those consultants in.
There's quite a lot of land that you cover.
Yes, and I wish I knew how much land was actually in North Carolina, but I can't quote you that.
That's okay.
There's a lot. We've got a lot of roads. North Carolina actually has more state-maintained. We're second in the country for the amount of state-maintained roadways. We have like 15,000 miles of primary roadways that we maintain, and I think it was 60,000 miles of secondary roadways that we maintain. And we're like second in the country behind Texas, I think it is.
Yeah.
And the reason that is because we don't have any county maintained roads in North Carolina. Everything's either maintained by state or municipalities.
Okay, yeah, like we call them councils.
Yeah.
One of the questions that's quite interesting to me is pre-TopoDOT days.
Okay.
So do you know your pre-TopoDOT days?
Yeah, I actually do, because we first started out with the static scanning, okay, and we were using the vendor software to do a lot of the processing. I really probably shouldn't say, okay. But we still have them and they're great.
Yeah.
But extraction was really tedious and time consuming.
Yeah.
And now I have the patience of a 5-year-old, and the attention span of a 5-year-old. And I was, even with that software, it was awesome. I mean, the point clouds are just awesome to begin with, and the things you can extract from them, but the tools that we had were just, they were cumbersome, and I kept asking I was like, who has something that we can do this, and make it easier and more efficient? And it was like constantly like that. We started scanning in 2006, late 2006 and 2007. So we were learning.
Yeah, you were early.
We were trying to figure out what was going on, what we were going to use it for, and how to extract the data. And it was, the tools were like, in those software, they work, for what we needed, but they weren't necessarily easy.
Yeah.
And I was really just looking for something easy
Easy.
Yeah, I like easy. I like the easy button.
So I like easy button all the time.
Yeah.
So how did you come across TopoDOT then?
I honestly don't remember, but I think maybe our unit head went to a conference. And I think Ted was at one of the conferences,
Yeah.
and they were like, hey, hey, blah, blah, check out software or whatever. And I think that's the way we came by it. And he came back and said, check out this software. It works inside MicroStation. I was like, what? It works inside MicroStation? It's like, yeah, it works inside MicroStation. And I was just for that one fact, because we have so many users. At the time, we had like 4,000 MicroStation users in DOT. Whoa. And the light bulb went off. I was like, we have surveyors all across the state. If we could open point clouds and do the processing in MicroStation in a software package that they've already got training in, that's perfect. We don't have to open that second software package, relearn, learn all those tools and that, and then learn how to, shoot it back out to MicroStation. If we do it all in MicroStation, you're done in the end. So I was hooked. Yeah, for that one perspective. And we tested other products that actually, a lot of the other products that we tested were more like photogrammetry-based products.
Yeah.
That were like forced to work with point clouds instead of photogrammetry, and they just weren't as
forced.
Yeah, they were like forced to work with the point cloud data, for what we wanted. It just wasn't. The processing was. I hated processing. I hated extraction because everything was so slow. And,
so what was it like when you went from no TopoDOT to TopoDOT?
It was really neat because of all the tools that are in TopoDOT to do simple things. And I'm probably going to say it several times. It's in MicroStation, and we're a MicroStation organization. It works right in MicroStation, and it was so easy to have everything right there. If you were doing clearances, if you were doing the roadway extraction, whatever, it was just right there. And I was so excited about that when we got the TopoDOT and started using it. I was going to get all my guys in using it, and our plans were to push it out across our field offices. We have 14 field offices across the state, and let them start processing scan data.
Yeah.
Didn't quite work out because about the same time we started outsourcing most of our work. But the TopoDOT just made things, just little things easier.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what are some of the specifics that you really like? Think, it's so good to have that tool.
Well, it's like the main things we use, and Ted has so many tools in TopoDOT, the roadway extraction. Because I had really been looking for something that was automated or semi-automated, and TopoDOT was really there. And it's just progressed over time. That's what I'm talking about when we first got it. It has really progressed since we first got it. So TopoDOT has even got better since then. with the automated and the semi-automated extraction of curbing. My big thing was I asked the software vendors that we had. I said, can you do this and make it semi-automated? And we got no response from them. And Ted was already doing the semi-automated extraction for curb, brake lines basically.
Yeah.
And you call them and they're like, oh yeah, we're working on that, and I wouldn't even get a call back, from some of the, the others, and so that's one of the specific things. And then clearances in the software that we have can be, I've got it down pretty good, but it can still be clunky. And then you're in their software, you still have to export it back to MicroStation to get a CAD drawing.
Yeah.
So those two tools are probably the two that we use the most when we use. We use some of the QA/QC tools to extract some like spreadsheet or whatever. Those are the top three that we use. Like I say, we're QA/QC, so we're not extracting. Most of the tools are for extraction.
Yeah.